Greetings, Neuro Ninjas. Thanks for clicking on the link. It's a bit tough at the moment, isn't it? I've had lots of people in touch just saying they're feeling a bit bleak at the moment. And that leads us to the Neuro Ninja question of the week. Why am I feeling so bleak right now? Are you feeling bleak right now? Oh no, I've forgotten the drum roll. Drum roll, please. So the Neuro Ninja question of the week is, are you feeling bleak right now? And what can you do about that? So let's dive in. So we're making this video in response to lots of communication that you've been sending us about feeling a bit low at the moment. It's being recorded on Sunday the 1st of November. So Boris Johnson announced the England's lockdown from the 5th of November. And lots of you have been saying, you know, so much change, not a great deal to look forward to. It's dark, it's wet, I can't see my friends after school, I can't do some of the things that I normally do to make myself feel better. So let's think about how we can help ourselves every single day. And the first thing we need to do as Neuro Ninjas is remember that there are parts of our brain that find uncertainty really upsetting and obsess about that uncertainty. We've got this worst case scenario brain built by evolution to survive in the dangerous environment of the African savannah. So we're built to survive, not to be happy. And there are those safety circuits in our brain that have spotted lots of uncertainty. There's lots of change, and we're kind of churning through that experience, trying to find solutions. There are solutions. There are things happening. There's therapeutics. There's vaccinations. There's the spring. There's plenty of things that are going to come and make the situation better. But it's really important to make sure that we're enabling ourselves to feel a bit better every day. We're not going to wait until February. We're not going to wait until April. We're not going to wait for a vaccination. We need to do things every day to balance the kind of response of some of the negative circuits in our brain. First of all, let's just remind ourselves why our brain can get itself in a pickle. How there are safety circuits in our brain that can amplify psychological suffering, and also be aware of the huge global international changes occurring at the moment, which is going to make these circuits even more intense in that experience of suffering.
Has evolved to think in such a way that it naturally creates psychological suffering. You see, back in the Stone Age, 200,000 years ago, life was pretty dangerous for our caveman ancestors. So if a caveman or cavewoman wanted to survive, their minds had to constantly be on the lookout for things that might hurt or harm them. And if that cave person's mind wasn't good at predicting, spotting, or avoiding danger, what happened to her? The default setting of the caveman mind was safety first. And we in the modern world have inherited this. Our modern minds are constantly warning us of things that might hurt or harm us. The caveman mind says, watch out, there might be a bear in that cave, you could get eaten. Watch out, that shadow on the horizon might be an enemy from another clan, you could get speared. Our modern mind then does worrying, predicting the worst, avoiding anything that scares you, anxiety in all of its different forms. Back in caveman days, you survive an encounter with a bear or a wolf, then it's useful to replay it. It's useful for your mind to go over the events and remember what you did to survive so that you're better prepared for next time. But in our modern world, we go over and over painful memories, dwelling on them, reliving them, even when there's nothing useful to learn or the lesson has been well and truly learned a long time ago. In the Stone Age era, as a caveman or cavewoman, you have to fit in with the group. If you are alone, you will soon die. So your mind compares you to others in the group. Am I fitting in? Am I contributing enough? Am I following the rules? Am I doing anything that might get me thrown out? Now, in modern life, we're always comparing ourselves to others. But the problem is we're no longer in a small group. Our groups are enormous today, and we carry with us devices that constantly feed us images and stories of people all over the planet. This constant comparison ramps up our fear of being judged or rejected or not fitting in or just not being good enough. The caveman mind tells you need more food, you need more water, better weapons, better shelter. The cave people who thought this way lived longer and had more offspring. Unfortunately, in the modern world, this manifests as greed, dissatisfaction, craving, wanting. It's never enough. I need more, more, more. And if all of that wasn't bad enough, these Stone Age thought patterns are intensified by the sheer pace and complexity of modern life, our frantic existence, rushing from task to task, that never-ending to-do list. So, when your mind starts doing this unhelpful stuff, as all minds do, remember, it's not defective or abnormal, and it's not deliberately trying to make your life difficult. It's simply doing the job it has evolved to do, trying to keep you safe and save you from pain.
So that's really important to remember every single day, that our brain, there is a bit of our brain that is constantly going to be spotting uncertainty, and that is going to lead to that churning sense of emotion and, possibly feeling bleak and a bit hopeless sometimes, and that's just awful, those feelings. So let's just get into the neural architecture a little bit. You've got the prefrontal cortex. That's where we make our plans, our goals. That's where we drive ourselves forward. And linked to that, you've got the amygdala, and it's the amygdala that is spotting change in the world. It's churning up those kind of responses, and it will generate alerts for the prefrontal cortex in times of massive change, in times when there's maybe not as much to look forward to and it's just a bit gritty and we've got to keep going. Then those areas of the prefrontal cortex and amygdala, there's going to be in a constant kind of dialogue, and the amygdala is going to constantly be trying to get the attention of the prefrontal cortex. Basically, don't forget this, all the uncertainty that it's spotting. So, we've gone into a national lockdown. We don't know when we're going to come out of it. We don't know this. We don't know that. That level of churn is going to cause the amygdala to constantly throw up cognitive distortions, highly charged emotional thinking that's designed to get the attention of the rational processing circuits. But there are no answers at the moment beyond the fact that we will get through this. There will be answers, but we're thinking at the moment about how we can build a more balanced response every day and lift our mood every day. So we're going to get to that shortly. But let's just remind ourselves what those cognitive distortions are, because you'll be having a lot of them at the moment, I'm sure. Lots of us are.
Today, we're going to talk about ATs, also known as automatic thoughts. They're those destructive and unreasonably negative thoughts that you have that make things go from bad to worse. Avoiding ATs feels as impossible as avoiding red lights when you're running late. You're going to hit one or two, or every single light from your house to work on that morning that your report's due at 9 a.m. and your boss is already on the edge and you might just get fired and then get evicted and... See? Automatic thoughts can pop up and escalate as easy as that. Regardless of reality, ATs are the things that help you build a couple of red lights up to an Armageddon-scale catastrophe in a matter of seconds. Today on Wellcast, we're going to show you how to manage those harmful automatic thoughts with healthier, rational ones. And we're going to use our triple R exercise. You are going to record, rationalize, and replace your ATs. But first, how serious are ATs? A study at UCLA shows that people who got caught in cycles of automatic negative thinking became clinically depressed, self-critical, and less successful in both their work and personal lives. According to Dr. Glenn Scaraldi, these negative, disordered ATs fall into 13 categories, all of which take a toll on your mental health. Here are some of the categories. Assuming or mind reading. Like when you are sure someone is mad at you, even though you haven't spoken to them just because they walked in and didn't say hi. Shoulds, must, and oughts. Those are the insane demands that we make upon ourselves in our quest to be impossibly perfect. The fairy tale fantasy, where we demand an ideal for our life and decide that anything less than that ideal just isn't fair. Overgeneralizing. Nobody likes me. I always ruin everything. And finally, catastrophizing, when you take a little problem and turn it into a big, terrible, life-changing event. How do we stop ATs? Good question. And the shorter answer is we don't. But by being conscious of the fact that we're having them and working to replace them with rational thoughts, we can keep them from endangering our mental health. And that is today's exercise.
So these are those cognitive distortions: all or nothing thinking, catastrophizing, minimization, jumping to conclusions, must and should and ought statements, blaming. And it's really important that we notice those cognitive distortions. As that video mentioned, we need to be aware of them so we can respond differently to them. So when they occur, we just need at the moment to go, I'm having a set of cognitive distortions, because it's all kicking off and it's quite tricky. So start to notice your cognitive distortions, listen out for them coming out of the mouths of you and those of people around you as well. And just be aware that you can't stop cognitive distortions, but we can give a different response. Let's face it, it's a tricky time at the moment, so we're all going to be feeling a little bit wobbly, and those responses of the brain are going to be churning in a much more kind of potent way. So what can we do every day to find hope in the darkness? Because in the literal darkness, as we head towards the winter solstice. So there's a response that we can do every day, and you won't be surprised to hear me say that it lies in the rocks of well-being, but a particular rock of well-being. Rock 10, gratitude and kindness, turns on a set of circuits in our prefrontal cortex. So we started this video talking about the amygdala, talking about it spotting uncertainty, us feeling that as anxiety and strong negative emotions, experiencing cognitive distortions. The solution, because the solutions to the pandemic and the complexity occurring in the world are coming, but they're going to take a while. The daily solution is to get really down to detail and get nerdy about gratitude and kindness. It activates a set of circuits all across our prefrontal cortex, the solution-focused circuits, releasing positive neurotransmitters like oxytocin and serotonin, and supporting our mental health. So let's get nerdy about gratitude and kindness, and we'll have a little bit of a conversation about that now. So gratitude and kindness activate circuits in our prefrontal cortex. These circuits soothe the amygdala down. Gratitude and kindness connect us with other people around us. Gratitude and kindness bring us into the present moment, placing us in our mindfulness network in our prefrontal cortex. And there's lots of evidence that says that when people are in the present moment, they're enjoying their experience far more. And gratitude and kindness links us with others and builds empathy for others as well as ourselves. So it's kind of really important when that bit of our brain's churning and we're having those kind of difficult experiences, we need to make sure that we invest strongly in the 12 rocks of well-being, but specifically in this video we're talking about gratitude and kindness, rock 10. So we should practice gratitude every day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. They could be people, small moments, tiny positive experiences. Tweet them on #GratefulNeuroNinja. Focus on something to be grateful for in the morning, something to be grateful for in the afternoon, something that you're grateful for in the evening. And just have a moment in the day when you just sit down, maybe 6 p.m. in the evening, just write down 3 things you're grateful for that day. It's a really important process, and it switches on those circuits in the front of our heads. And then practice kindness every day. Plan 3 random acts of kindness for people in your life. Do one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, and post them if you want under the #KindNeuroNinja. So you could be grateful Neuro Ninja or kind Neuro Ninja. Just practice those skills. Practice gratitude 3 times a day. Make sure you make a note of 3 things you're grateful for and let us know about them. And practice random acts of kindness. Build them in as a habit. Try and get 1 done before midday, 1 done before 5 p.m, 1 done between 5 p.m. and bedtime. Thanks for listening. Take care, everyone. Thanks for the questions. Keep them coming. We will get through this. Look after yourself using the 12 rocks of well-being. Keep in touch. Make sure that you're connecting with family and friends. Make sure you're managing your emotions. Make sure you're practicing gratitude and kindness. See you all next week.